Communities Action in Solidarity and Association Jesus Solidarity are inviting you to listen to the Living Gospel. This Sunday, the 30th of June, let us meditate on the Gospel according to Mark, chapters 5 verses 21 and 25 to 34, with commentary from Father Patxi Loidi in the voice of Frix del Rosario and Frix del Rosario. Proclamation of the Holy Gospel according to St. Mark. When Jesus had crossed again in the boat to the other side, a large crowd gathered around him, and he stayed close to the sea. There was a woman afflicted with hemorrhage for 12 years. She had suffered greatly at the hands of many doctors and had spent all that she had. Yet she was not helped, but only grew worse. She had heard about Jesus and came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak. She said, "If I but touch his clothes, I shall be cured." Immediately, her flow of blood dried up. She felt in her body that she was healed of her affliction. Jesus, aware at once that power had gone out from him, turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who has touched my clothes?" But his disciples said to him, "You see how the crowd is pressing upon you, and yet you ask, 'Who touched me?'" And he looked around to see who had done it. The woman, realizing what had happened to her, approached in fear and trembling. She fell down before Jesus and told him the whole truth. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has saved you. Go in peace and be cured of your affliction." The word of the Lord. Father Patxi's commentary. Friends of the Living Gospel, greetings and happy day of the Lord. Today's Gospel contains two stories, one about the woman with hemorrhage, and the other, the daughter of Jairus, head of the synagogue. Let us reflect only on the first story. The woman with hemorrhage was very unhappy because of the disease and the impurity that accompanied it, which excluded her from the temple, the most painful for her, all magnified because she is a woman. In this story, as in others, Jesus also became unclean, especially when he took the dead daughter of Jairus by the hand. But his compassion is above this kind of law and cannot be contained. The woman with hemorrhage was ashamed to approach Jesus, so she acted in secret. The story is filled with tenderness when the woman was healed and Jesus realized that a mysterious force has come out of him. And when the woman declared what she did, Jesus called her daughter. What emotion that woman felt! It was not the treatment that women were used to receiving in that culture, but Jesus was different, and with sovereign freedom, used it to give women confidence and dignity. At times, the story can give the impression of magic, but the attitude of the woman and the words of Jesus dissolve every hint of magic. Only faith remains. The woman prostrated herself before Jesus. We could say that it is her faith that opened the door to Jesus to give salvation. Then, admiring the faith of the woman, Jesus encircled her with tenderness and gave her the healing words. First, your faith has saved you. You are a completely new person. Second, go in peace. It is the peace of God and peace with oneself. It is to say, you are not impure. Remove the feeling of guilt it is also to restore to her the dignity that society and religion have taken away from her. You are not an outcast. You are as worthy as the most worthy person. And as a climax, the confirmation of that set of transforming gifts, you are liberated from your illness and all its consequences. Physical healing has also become religious salvation. Jesus has broken all taboos. He did not ask, "Why did you touch me?" He did not complain that she was contaminating him. On the contrary, he said the word that raised her to the maximum height. He will call his disciples friends. This poor, excluded woman he calls daughter. It is not only a word of immense tenderness, but also expresses his struggle against injustice and exclusion. The denunciation of a social and religious system that created exclusions, as it was then and it is today. This is a passage that sums up the love and struggles of Jesus.
Prayer of the Woman Disciple. Lord Jesus, Lord of faith and life, triumphant over death, Lord of the mourners, the victims, and the destitutes, we would like to touch you like the woman with hemorrhage, touch you with faith, prostrate before you. We would like to lean against you like the crowd that followed you, receive your love and respect, and listen to your loving words. But allow us to tell you something special. We would like that your current disciples be not blind like the apostles of your time, that they would discover that we exist, and that we, women, are also your disciples, that they would see how we devote ourselves to your cause, although they leave us invisible, and that they would realize the humiliations we suffer. Grant us the audacity of faith to give the tenderness that you gave, to close hidden wounds of so many women with hemorrhage that swarm through this cruel world where men rule supreme. And look at us as you looked at that sister of ours, blessed woman saint with hemorrhage.